Beau Was Afraid is a film directed by Ari Aster of Hereditary and Midsommar fame, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Pia Lapone. Let's get into it. So, the film's positives. So, first of all, this is a film about a man who has anxiety and is kind of like day to day struggle with life. And it's all about him trying to get home to see his mother. And it's this 3 hour epic nightmare of a film. Nightmare in a good way. It's weird, it's unconventional, it's not your everyday movie that you'll see, and it is really kind of that type of film that requires you take it on its own terms. Is the film Ari Aster's best film? No. Hereditary still kind of beats that out. However, it's not as weird in my opinion as Midsommar, which was just something that threw me off completely. Like I got behind the horrors of that. It was quite horrific when you watched it, but it was very weird. Here he kind of tones that back a bit. I don't really get the comedy angle in this one. I'm someone who doesn't see a lot of comedy films unless they're of interest. But the thing is that this film was on Google said a horror comedy. People were kind of commenting about that. I was just thinking to myself like I was in there in the theater watching it, going, yeah, but like, how's that meant to be funny? Like, I'm not laughing. Am I meant to be laughing at him or with him? Like, it's that sort of thing that's going on here. And it kind of felt like there's an hour and 30 minutes of plot and an hour and 30 minutes of comedy. Which some jokes landed and some didn't. And like, it feels like Ari Aster is trying something new, which I like the idea of, because his last two films were kind of like straight up horror, uh, maybe even cult films. This has that kind of ideology. It is shot brilliantly, by the way, though. Joaquin Phoenix's performance in here, amazing, as he always is. He's one of the best actors working today in modern Hollywood. He knows how to dial back a performance and give you all the little subtleties of this character. And also, Beau is just a kind of really relatable character for me as a person. Like, the anxiety about what other people think of you and all that. Like, that's just like it's not something they'll shy away from. Like other stories like Wonder, um, are films that kind of work best on their own merits and delve into the kind of like, you know, that kind of scared kid inside. Dear Evan Hansen also does this to a more mentally degree, and well, I mean, like they're all in their respective genres. I guess the film needs that 3 hours, because I know some people who would say go and see this and be like, I need to laugh after that because otherwise I'm gonna have a panic attack. Like, I feel like some people went in like that, and I don't know. It's really kind of off-putting that some people find some of this stuff funny, but at the same time, the film is trying to like make you feel uncomfortable, so it kind of works the film's angle. Negative. Quickly sum this one up. The negatives of this film are how weird it gets from sometimes, like, and how some things just don't line up. Um, like there's a scene where a character just gets like frozen for no reason. I'm not going to give the context because that would be spoilers. There's also a scene where something bad happens and kind of Beau needs to deal with it, and like, it just kind of it's very cruel to our main character, even though the film never really shows us anything that would kind of make him mean. Also, the twist at the end doesn't quite work. I feel like he was trying to write that in, but there's one scene that kind of explains it, but like it's one scene in a 3 hour movie. I bet you there are a lot of people who forgot that scene was even there because we've been captivated by Beau's journey. We're not going to remember just like one brief interaction you had with one person. So, I don't know. It feels like Aster was trying to pull off a twist here that he thought, like, because it's going to be a 3 hour movie, people are going to remember this. And it kind of relies that you're paying attention to everything, which I'm not sure everyone is. Now I appreciate he has a twist in here to spice things up, but like I said, it doesn't really make much sense. Um, but yeah, besides that, that's the film's negatives. Like the film's positives, the cinematography, the editing, the sound design, the acting, the directing, like pretty much everything besides some of the weirdness and the twists that kind of occurs in film. Like they're small, like this small, compared to these really big positives. Like you're talking from like to here, like you're just talking like that little fraction of the film being negative. So like this would be like an A. Yeah, an A feels about right for this film. I'd recommend seeing it. Try and see it in a cinema that has recliners though, because when I was getting out of my usual musical, sorry, not musical, different different thing altogether. I was getting out of my local cinema's seats. Like it's a 3 hour movie. And you're kind of like, I could do it a recliner for this one. But like that's just a cinema thing, and it's not really anything the cinema could have done on that part. But yeah, I'd highly recommend this film to stir up a bit of conversation. I think the critics are being a bit unfair to it now, as it is a film that has such a, what's even the word for it, such a dark topic, but yet the film doesn't shy away from going into that dark topic. I just think the twist and some weird scenes in this don't quite work. And I think some of the comedy doesn't land as much, but an A, and I highly recommend the film to anyone looking to find ways of scaring an audience that don't rely on loud noises, something Aster's really good at. Midsommar does this like true imagery. Hereditary does a true imagery. In general, I'd say look at Ari Aster's work and look at kind of like how he gets you afraid of things before you've really had the chance to be afraid. And it kind of creeps under your skin a bit. So anyone looking to do horror, look at the likes of Ari Aster. Um, Look at David F. Sandberg even. Uh, Even look at Edgar Wright. I mean, he's managed to scare a few people with films like Last Night in Soho, and he relies more on imagery, but I'm getting caught myself here. I'd highly recommend the film. This is my review for um, Beau is Afraid done. Oh, also, Paddy Poem is really good in this movie. That's the last thing. Okay. This is my review for Beau is Afraid done.